Good afternoon, dear colleagues. Welcome to our webinar. I hope you can hear us, and if yes, could you just please let us know in the chat? Just put a plus sign or an asterisk or something if you can hear us. Okay, perfect. We are very excited to hold the very first webinar this year. We will be talking about the trends in HSE University admissions campaign 2019-2020. Let me introduce ourselves. My name is Liliya. I'm the project manager of the International Education and Training Advisory Center. And this is my colleague, Olga. She's also the manager of the International Education Training Advisory Center. She is working with our students with their upcoming requests from the student side. And I am particularly working with recruiting agents. So today we will cover the following topics. First, we will discuss the new trends available this year. After that, we will move on to talking about new education programs, both on the bachelor's and master's level. And after that, I will go briefly through partial scholarships available for our students, and we will finish the session with your questions. And yes, if you have any questions, please feel free to write them in the chat. Otherwise, we will be able to answer the questions after the webinar. So just a quick reminder, Moscow is the main campus of HSE. This is where we have the double degree programs, as well as the biggest number of English taught programs, both on the bachelor's and master's level. Apart from that, there are also 3 other campuses. So apart from Moscow, these are in St. Petersburg, Nizhny Novgorod, and Perm. Currently, we have about 35,100 students spread all over Moscow and other 3 cities as well. So basically, moving to our main topic of the webinar, these are the new trends that we are ready to offer you this year. First of all, we are concentrating on simplicity. That means that we have upgraded our application system, and now it's easier to acquire the login and password to start the application form, as well as it's possible to stay updated with all the news. So that means when there is a change of status in the system, the student will be notified automatically by an email. So we recommend all the students and agents as well to keep checking the emails, because we do know that sometimes students forget to check the account itself and don't know exactly what's going on and what the current status of their application form is. So please don't forget to check the email. The second one, we are using the client-oriented approach. That means we have a special HSE advisory center that is working throughout the entire week and is able to answer all the questions either by email, which is inter@hse.ru, or the telephone number. So students are able to contact the center anytime. After that, we are also using variety. What is important for us is to keep being updated on the new programs and on the interest of our students. That means we are opening new education programs each year. For instance, this year we opened a brand new program in chemistry and biology. We will also be talking about the new program in the English language, which is news production, as well as Russian studies. And there is also a brand new program concentrating on digital humanities. This is done to meet the current demands of our students. And finally, we also believe that it's important to stay flexible. That means the deadline for all bachelor's and master's applications has been shifted. If you used to work with us last year, you might remember that the deadlines were different for bachelor's and for master's. The deadline for master's was back in July, and the deadline for bachelor's was in August. But now we have come up with only one deadline, which is August 20th. I will also emphasize that a bit later in the presentation. Okay, just another reminder about our faculties and schools. As we are a comprehensive university, that means we have faculties available in various interests, in various areas of studies, which cover not only economic sciences, even though we are a higher school of economics, but right now we are trying to concentrate on other directions as well. Social sciences, communication, media and design, world economy, business management, humanities, and as I have already mentioned, we've opened chemistry and biology departments this year. So we believe that we will be expanding onwards, and stay tuned. Who knows which programs we're going to open next year. This is the list of our English programs that we offer on the bachelor's level. And as you can see, all the programs that have already been quite successful, for example, the double degree programs with the University of London, here you can see them marked separately. And we've also opened 3 brand new programs, English programs, which are communication design, environmental design, and Russian studies. Let me talk a bit more about each of these programs. So the first program is called Russian Studies. That means the first intake will be in 2019. And this program concentrates on the topics of Russia, which are political aspects, economic aspects, cultural, and basically all the different aspects connected with Russia and the Russian language as well. For instance, one of the bonuses that we offer is teaching Russian throughout all 4 years of studies. It's offered for free, so everyone who applies for this program is able to study Russian. However, the entire program contains English courses. That means the entry requirements would include passing the English exam as well as the exam in social science. So the duration of the program will be 4 years, just as a regular bachelor's program, and it will have 3 study tracks: law and economics, society and politics, and foreign policy of Russia. So the application deadline is August 20th, and we encourage all the students that would like to either continue working in Russia, start working in Russia, or work with Russian companies to apply for this program. The next program is environmental design. It's also a brand new program for us, and we believe that the demand for design has been quite high for the past several years. The entry requirements include passing the English exam as well as taking part in the creative competition, and all the students who meet the minimum required scores would be able to start studying at this program. So it's also an entirely English program, and the deadline is the same one, August 20th. It's also possible to have a partial scholarship for this particular program. And the third English program on the bachelor's level is communication design. It offers 3 study tracks that are branding, multiple publications, and motion design. In order to apply for this program, students will have to pass the English test and take part in the creative competition. After they meet the minimum required scores, they would be able to start studying. And we also offer partial scholarships for this particular program as well. Moving on to our master's programs. The pool of our master's programs has also expanded this year, and we would like to offer 3 more English programs. Russian studies, so that means that after graduating from our bachelor's, students would be able to concentrate on the Russian topics as well and apply for the Russian studies program. They will also have a chance to study law. So the law that we offer is concerned with international trade, finance, and economic integration. And there will also be another program in the communications and media section, which is called international news production. So let me go briefly through each of these programs. So Russian Studies program, as already been discussed throughout our bachelor's program is the same one. However, the entry requirement of the master's program is a bit different. As for all our bachelor's program, we require students to take part in our test. For masters, students have to prepare a portfolio. The portfolio might differ depending on the program, but it usually includes their motivation letter, 2 reference letters, as well as their diploma of the previous education, their academic transcripts, their CV, and also the results of either IELTS or TOEFL. Apart from that, we also ask students to take part in the interview so that the program can learn more about each particular candidate and can also see what kind of motivation and what kind of background they have. So basically, the deadline is August 20th, and we encourage everyone interested in the topics of Russia to apply for this program after they have graduated from their bachelor's. The next program that we're offering is law. Actually, we used to have only Russian taught programs, and we believe that this program can also be of particular interest because there are a lot of students that would like to concentrate on law and would like to study at our university. So this particular program revolves around the topics of international trade, finance, and economic integration. And all the students that would like to apply will have to prepare a regular portfolio as well as take part in the interview. There are also scholarships available for this particular program. And the last one is called International News Production. This is the program organized with collaboration with Russia Today, and students have a perfect chance to learn more about the foundations of modern news productions, prepare for the news outlets, and basically these are to contact both globally and internationally. We encourage all students who are particularly interested in this topic to apply for this program. Moving on to the topic of partial scholarships, as you might remember from our previous year, we do continue offering partial scholarships. They differ a bit depending on the level, so all applicants for bachelor's programs are able to acquire a scholarship up to 70% coverage, and all applicants for master's programs can gain a scholarship up to 50% coverage. These are academic-based scholarships. That means the student's previous academic background is taken into account, as well as the results of either entrance examinations, if we talk about bachelor's applicants, or their score for their portfolio, if we talk about master's applicants. There are also other criteria available for applicants to acquire a scholarship. For example, graduating from our preparatory year can grant a scholarship of 25%. So if there are any students who would like to learn Russian at our preparatory year first, it's also possible to do that. Graduate successfully from the preparatory year and apply for our full degree programs with a scholarship of 25%. And as the admissions campaign has already started, the date of the start was October 15th. I would like to go briefly through the application process, just a small reminder for you so that you know what exactly you need to do if there are any students that would like to apply for HSE University. So the first step for students is to choose the program. And the application deadline has already been mentioned. It's August 20th, 2019. Students have the chance to choose 2 programs that they would like to apply for. It's done all online. There is no need to send documents either by email or in paper-based applications. We have our online application systems, and on the slide you can find the links basically to start the application form already. I will send you the presentation after the webinar, so you will be able to use all the links that you need. After the student has chosen the programs, we suggest that the student creates an account in the online application system. If you are going to help a student do that, you can do that on behalf of your own email, or if you have any questions regarding how to do that, whether it's better to apply on behalf of the student's email or your own email, you can also contact me. We can discuss this question separately. But basically, the second step revolves around the application form itself. So students that would like to apply for our bachelor's programs have to register for 2 exams, for exams in 2 subjects, for each program that they choose. For example, if they apply for an English top program, one of the exams would be English. Another one would depend on the program. It might be either mathematics or history or social science. It would talk about Russian studies program, for instance. And all master's applicants prepare a portfolio. It's also important to check the requirements for each program separately because the requirements for portfolio might a bit differ. And they also might be asked for a Skype interview after their portfolio has been submitted in the system. After the student takes part in the exams, if it's bachelor's applicant or submits a portfolio, there will be a certain period of time for programs to decide whether the candidate should be accepted to HSE or not. It will take about 2 weeks. If there are any separate questions from the program, the student will be contacted separately. And please don't forget that students have to submit all components of the portfolio. For instance, if the program states that there are supposed to be 2 reference letters from also the academic supervisor as well as the employer, it's important to submit both reference letters, not just one. Otherwise, the student might be declined by the program if the portfolio has not been completed. Here you can also see the links to our minimum scores for bachelor's programs and the list of the entrance exams for each particular program. And after the student has been recommended, the student prepares a package of documents. Basically, it's quite easy, and the list is available on our website. However, please also check our online application system because it's important, first of all, to send the consent that the student is ready to study at this particular program. For example, if the student doesn't mark that he or she is ready to study, that means the program doesn't consider the student anymore. That means we basically won't be waiting for the student. So please, as soon as the student has been recommended for acceptance, don't forget to let the student know that there is supposed to be a consent in the separate section of the online application system. And the final step is enrollment. After all the previous steps have been completed, the student needs to go through the recognition process. It's done online, it's free of charge, it's done by our university. So what needs to be done is the diploma or the secondary school certificate should be uploaded in the system so that our colleagues working with the recognition section are able to check the corresponding document. And after that, as soon as it's done and as the preliminary recognition has been carried out, the student applies for a visa invitation letter. There is also a separate section in the online application system. Don't be confused by the steps that need to be taken because everything is done in the particular order and the order is specified in the online system as well. So after completing one section, the student will be offered to complete the section following the previous one. And the most important question, also the legalization of documents in the home country. We are asking you to check the list of countries that have to go through the legalization process, and in case you have any questions, please don't forget to let me know about this so that we are able to discuss this separately. These are all the 5 steps of our application process. If you have any questions left, please either write in our chat, or we can discuss that over the phone or by email. So what's going to happen next is, after this webinar, we will also keep organizing a series of webinars that would be covering other topics. For instance, please don't forget to book the dates of the next webinar. It will take place on January 22nd, basically next month, and we will be talking about the partnership program for recruiting agents. This is a brand new program that we are currently discussing, and we would like to let you know what the program is all about. It's about encouraging our recruiting agents to keep working with us and to keep promoting our university. So basically, the program will cover the topics of extending our commission for successful agents, as well as offering mutual activities that we are able to organize in the country of the recruiting agent. We will also go through the schedule for online entrance exams, because usually students prefer to take online exams if they live far away and they're not able to come to Moscow, so there is no need to do that. We are organizing online entrance exams, and I will show you our schedule that will be confirmed by that. And finally, we will go through the application system itself, so that if you have any questions on how to fill in this or that particular field in the application online, please write down the questions so that I could go through each of the questions next webinar. There is also a separate slide for you to use the links, basically the website of our university, as well as the international admissions page, which contains all the information that is important for international students. There are also 5 easy steps to apply for both bachelor's and master's programs, and you can find the links also separately. And thank you very much for taking your time to join our webinar. And at this point, I would be ready to answer your questions if there are any questions left. I see that Olga has already been actively involved in answering all the questions. And yes, if there is something that you would like to ask me as well, please write in the chat. I see the question regarding the preparatory course. Yes, it's important to apply for preparatory separately. So this is not done with our online application system. This is done through a separate online form. I will send you the link to our preparatory year program separately. Let me remind you that we have 3 study tracks. A half-year preparatory program for those students who already have particular backgrounds in the Russian language, also 1-year program and 1.5-year programs. And the intakes are separate. For instance, there is one intake for 1-year preparatory program, and it's in October. So basically it has already started. However, if you have any candidates for preparatory year to study for half a year or for 1.5 years, it's possible to do that, to submit an application by December 15th. So there is still time to apply for 2 other tracks. Yes, the presentation will be sent to all of the participants of this webinar. Regarding the documents required for application, you will find the links in my presentation that will be sent out to you. If you don't find something easily, please let me know. We will go through the links with you together. As I see, Olga is already answering the question about scholarships. Yes, there are no scholarships available for prep year, but there are scholarships available for full degree programs. However, we suggest that you check each program or just write me a question regarding a particular program, and I will let you know whether there are scholarships available for this or that program. The application form is on the website. I will go through each step of the application in January in our next webinar. So if you join us on January 22nd, I will show you all the steps on how to complete an application form. Regarding the question for the embassy, the student applies for a visa separately, so we are not exactly involved in this process. So please check the requirements for the embassy separately in your home country. But what we do prepare is the visa invitation letter for each student that requires a visa. But please don't forget to let the student know that the student has to apply for a visa invitation letter in the personal account. Okay. Regarding the question for double degree programs, sure, I will send you the full list of our double degree programs. Yes, there is no problem. Regarding visas, as we're definitely not working exactly with visas, we're working with the application process. Let me check this question separately. I'll just write that down. Okay. As I see, there is a demand for curriculum. Curriculum can be found on the webpage of each program. It would be quite challenging to combine all the curriculums for each program, as at the moment we have 80 bachelor's programs and 160 master's programs. But what we can do is we can send more detailed information on the entry requirements. For example, portfolio for each master's programs. Yes, this is something that we can do. There is still time before we finish, and please, if there are any questions, that pop up in your head, please write them down. We have 3 types of programs that we offer. One type is English talk programs. That means that all the courses throughout the program are offered entirely in English. The second type is Russian talk programs. That means that all courses are in Russian. And the third type that contains courses both in Russian and in English. For example, if the student chooses to apply for Russian and English talk programs, it's important to possess certain level of the Russian language. So I believe I have gone through the last question. I'm not sure if there is a question left. Usually, if it specifies that the program is Russian and English, that means there are courses entirely in Russian and in English throughout the entire program. So there are 2 types of languages used and it's essential for the student to know Russian in order to study there. For instance, project management has courses both in Russian and in English. And for those students who have no knowledge of Russian, it would be quite challenging to study at this program. However, they can take our preparatory year first, and afterwards, after learning Russian for a year or for a year and a half, they can apply for our programs that have both Russian and English courses. Yes, regarding the question of proving the enrollment, we provide the acceptance letter. It is issued by each education program, and we also provide the visa invitation letter. These are possible to use while applying for a visa at the embassy. There is a question regarding the number of attempts that students have in order to take part in the entrance exams. Well, at the moment, there is a strict rule regarding the number of attempts that we offer. However, if the student is not able to complete the entrance test successfully, we suggest that the student applies for our preparatory year. For example, those students who are preparing to apply for bachelor's, they can go to preparatory year first, study there for 1 year, also take courses in other subjects that would be essential for their education program on the bachelor's level, and afterwards, after successfully graduating, receive a scholarship of 25% and apply for a bachelor's program. Well, I'm afraid this is how it is right now. Only one intake for our full degree programs and only one chance to apply. However, our application our application period is quite long. So if students are not sure whether they're confident to take the exams right now, they don't have to. They can take some time to prepare for the exams. We have all the sample tests available on the website, so they can go through those tests as well as take a look at the topics covered throughout the test. These are also available on our website, and after that, take the test online. The application process is open from October 15th to August 20th. To be honest, the number of international students is just increasing each year at HSE University, and we encourage more and more students to come apply and try. So I'm not sure whether there is going to be a decrease of the number of applicants next year. I understand. Regarding Vietnamese market, we usually encourage students to go through our preparatory year program first and afterwards apply for either bachelor's or master's programs. And there is still time to do that because the deadline for 2 study tracks is December 15th. So if they want to apply for our English talk programs, they can start preparing now and take the test somewhere in May. Basically, they will have a few months of preparation because the sample tests are already on the website. So they will know which topics they need to work on, which topics they need to brush up first. Okay. Are there any other questions left? I believe we have tried to cover all of the questions so far. Yeah, I see that there is one about preparatory year. Well, there are quite a few chances to take the test for preparatory year because our colleagues went to Vietnam back in November, so that was the first time the students could take the test, and the second one would be organized either at the end of February or at the beginning of March. Yes. Well, these are the cities that we are currently able to cover, and let me discuss this with our colleagues if we can organize the tests for preparatory year in other cities as well. I will check that. This is quite a good idea regarding the online test for preparatory year. Um, at the moment, I can't answer if we can organize this or not, but we will also discuss this aspect with my colleagues. If yes, I will let you know. I will send out the letters regarding this. Yeah, this is great. I'm really happy to see your suggestions here, and it's awesome that you are sharing your experience and your concerns. So I will discuss the topic of expanding the geography for our tests for preparatory year in Vietnam, as well as organizing online tests for preparatory year. And regarding English taught programs, regarding the students who are not able to complete entrance tests successfully from the first attempt, we see that there is a demand for English taught preparatory year. We are currently also discussing this with our colleagues. We have already been doing this, and maybe not in the intake of 2019. Maybe in the upcoming years, we will also be able to offer this option to students. Thank you very much. Is there anything left that we still need to cover? And please, if you have any questions later, most of you already know my email. I will also send out the presentation. There is also contact information available there. Please email me or call me. Let me also remind you that we have the director of our center, Miss Marina Kozik. Some of you have already talked to her, and it has been a positive experience so far. And we continue working with you, attracting a bigger number of students from your countries. And we're always there for you to answer your questions. Thanks a lot for taking part in our